Welcome to Let's Talk Literature. I'm Em.
And I'm Will.
And we're two book lovers who wanted to combine our passions for reading and gossiping and share it with the world.
Whether you're looking for a new book to pick up or a new book friend, you come to the right place.
So grab a coffee.
Or a little wine and let's talk literature.
I've drank so much water today. Like
Good.
Peeing constantly.
Is that because of 75 booked? Or is that just because you've been drinking water?
I guess you're right. It is.
Speaking of, how's that going?
It's going great. I've been reading so much in the past. Today's day 17 question mark, I think.
Wow. Over 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's been going good. I've read a lot more than I typically do. So, yeah, it's been fun.
Amazing. That's
Thank
good to
you.
hear. And you also just hit 20,000 followers on TikTok. That is a big celebration. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It was kind of crazy. Very cool moment. I've been working on that TikTok for 3.5 years. So, yeah, I don't know. It was a cool moment. I made myself a cake to celebrate.
As you should.
Thanks.
As you should. What was the cake flavor?
It was a vanilla cake, but I added frozen blueberries to the mix, and then I made a filling with raspberries and blueberries. Delicious.
Ooh, okay, berry girl.
Yeah.
I see you.
It's good.
I see you, little berry girl.
How have you been? How's your reading going?
It's actually going really well. I'm reading pretty quickly. My current read is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. And she's a bit dense. She's a bit slow. And usually that would put me in a little bit of a slump. But something's in me to keep pushing forward. So
Perhaps the spirits of 75 Booked are with you.
they are. And I want to do 75 Booked. And I kind of am in a way. I'm not doing the reading journal part of it, which I should. I'm really just logging it on Goodreads and Fable.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can because I have to buy Sunrise on the Reaping and Long Bright River. So
that's okay.
I can't say that I'm doing it because I'm gonna buy those books. I know I'm gonna buy them. So I think once I buy them, then maybe I'll start.
Okay.
Officially.
I support that.
Start.
I support you buying them, and I support that.
I can't be a fraud. I can't say oh, I picked these up from a free little library because they're hot books. They would not be in the free little library.
We all know it. So.
Exactly.
I get it.
So soon, but I'm definitely taking your the little mantra of 75 booked and reading more and including it in my routine. So
love it. Love it.
Other big, I guess not congratulations, but a little celebration is that we have returning listeners and viewers, but we do have a good bunch of new viewers here. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are so happy for you. Wow, let me redo that.
We are so happy for you.
We're so
happy
that you
found us because we're so awesome.
We are so happy that you're here, and we look forward to more book talks and book clubs and everything books. And you can make sure to follow us on all of our social platforms. We've been posting our videos on YouTube. We've been posting on TikTok, also our personal TikToks. We can throw everything in the description and on the screen.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're following us on all of our platforms because we've been really dishing out some good stuff.
We're stepping up our game.
Yeah, we are.
Something's in the spring air.
Guys, can you just take a moment and look at Em's setup? She's beautiful. She's perfect. I mean,
thank you.
Absolutely wonderful.
I went on a decorating mission last week, and I was like, you know what?
As you should.
It's time.
I wanted to. You have inspired me, but I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. There's no room for me to do it here. I have to wait until either a new lease and get a second bedroom to do it, or what. But Chris would kill me if I made a little book corner.
What if you just a couple leaves, a couple vines in the corner? It's fine. He won't even notice.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it in our closet or something.
You should.
Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. We appreciate you all for sticking with us from the beginning and all of our new our new listeners, we really appreciate that you're here. And
Absolutely.
with that, I think we should get into today's episode.
Yeah. So we kind of took a little bit of a different direction this month, and I think going forward we're going to. I think it just makes a little bit more sense for us personally and for the viewers. It's just something that you can kind of interact with a little bit more, and you'll get more from it, I think. So instead of just sharing our TBRs the beginning of each month, we wanted to kind of highlight new books that are coming out each month, because that's a bit more interesting for everybody, I'd say. We can just talk about the books that are coming out, and then at the end, real quick, we'll just talk about the books that are on our tentative TBRs, because if you've been around, you know that we are not very good at sticking to them. So the episodes were kind of becoming a contradiction.
Yeah, they were. But like I've always said, and you can go back and fact check me on all of our episodes, I always say my TBR is a group of books that I will pull from. I don't expect myself to finish all of them.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like, I need a new read, I'm going for one of those. Unless there's like a hot new book or a hot book that's like trending, that's like, you got to read it, which like I'm not really big on following big trends like that. But if there's sometimes an exception. Or like, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this, I'll read this. But typically I will take from this group of books and read the majority of them if it's a good reading month. If it's not a good reading month, I'll still grab from them. So I have said that though.
You have.
I know my TBR is like, I'm like, oh, I have 6 books and I'm like going to read all. No, it's literally just a group of books I will pull from.
It's a group that you want to like prioritize.
Exactly. They're like my next in line. And are there books from March that I haven't read in my TBR from March's TBR that maybe I'll read this month? Of course. Yeah. But I want to give new books the spotlight. So, of course, I'm going to give some new books a chance here, you know?
Of course.
So,
okay, you're going to laugh at this. So the books that I want to talk about that are coming out this month, I printed out the descriptions so that I could like go and read from those, obviously. But I didn't realize that I had the wrong printer paper in the printer. So please take a look at what I'm reading from. Perfect.
First of all, why do you have paper that big at home?
So actually my dad uses it for work.
What's going on there? That is entirely too big.
It's ginormous. So if you see me squinting, my
Make
eyes.
That the thumbnail.
New books coming out this month.
Love it.
So if you see me squinting, that's why. My eyes already have been hurting because I've been staring at screens for like days on end. So this is not good for me, but.
Little sidebar. Do you think blue light glasses work? And
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, if you guys have blue light glasses and they work for you, please let us know in the comments.
I have a pair and I use them, but truthfully, I use them because they look cute.
Well, that's valid. But also, if they have like, if they're stylish, but they also work, that'd be even better.
It would be.
So,
I agree. But
yeah, please let me know because I will definitely invest in one because I've been looking at, since I've been on social media a little bit more, I've been looking at my screen a little bit more.
It hurts.
And I might be getting some migraines and headaches. So
yes, it hurts.
I would like to protect myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
All right. Let's jump in. Do you want to just go back and forth? We'll each talk about one.
Yeah. Do you want me to start? Because the first one on my list is one of the biggest releases of the month.
Yes, please. I'd love that.
So, the first new release that is on my list is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emilia Hart. This book is probably one of the most anticipated of the year because of Emilia Hart alone. She is a very well-known author. A lot of people love her books. But I'm here to say I have not read an Emilia Hart book. But this novel is about 2 writers compete for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a woman with more than a couple of plot twists up her sleeve. Oh. Is that the premise?
Oh.
No way.
That's pretty much it, actually. It's like 2 journalists are like, I think it's like an enemies to lovers kind of thing, and they are competing to tell a story.
I don't even know if this will be a priority for me to read. I think I need to read an Emilia Hart first in order for me to really be excited about this.
Yeah.
But how about you, Em? You have read Emily Henry. What do you think?
Yeah, I've read 2 of her books, and I like her. I think Book Lovers is fantastic. I also read Happy Place, and I thought it was okay. Like, it was good, but it wasn't anything great. And that was the last one I read from her, so I'm not, like, super excited to read it, but I definitely want to read it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the first on our list. I'll kick it over to you for your
Okay.
first pick.
All right.
Pull out the scroll over there. Get your little monocle out and
Next up.
get your feather pen out.
Oh my god. Okay.
Benjamin
Next
Franklin
up,
had
we
ass.
have The Sirens by Emilia Hart, which is probably my most anticipated for the month. This is the same author of Wayward, which I loved. I read that in 2023, I believe,
Yeah,
and it's
I know
kind
you
of a
love that
story
book.
about like witches and stuff like that. So this one, it's a dual POV, 2 different timelines. It's 2019. Lucy awakens in her ex-lover's room in the middle of the night with her hands around his throat. Horrified, she flees to her sister's house on the coast of New South Wales, hoping Jess can help explain the vivid dreams that preceded the attack. But her sister is nowhere to be found. As Lucy waits for her return, she starts to unearth strange rumors about Jess's town, tales of numerous missing men spread over decades, a baby abandoned in a sea-swept cave, whispers of women's voices on the waves. All the while, her dreams start to feel closer than ever. 1800, Mary and Eliza are torn from their loving home in Ireland and forced into a convict ship headed for Australia. As the boat bears them further and further from all they know, they begin to notice changes in their bodies that they can't explain. A breathtaking tale of female resilience, The Sirens is an extraordinary novel that captures the sheer power of sisterhood and the indefinable magic of the sea. Super excited for that one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like
oh my God, that
very
sounds so
feminist
unique.
historical fiction book.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited for that one.
Oh, wow. So the next thing on my list, I have Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, another highly anticipated book by the book community, especially Book Talk. Abby Jimenez is huge on Book Talk. Everyone loves her. Again, I have not read a book by her. So I'm out of my wheelhouse with this one, but here's the premise. There might be no such a thing as a perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. A gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten? Immediately, yes. That is until Xavier opens his mouth and proves that even sculpted gods can say the absolute wrong thing. Like, really wrong. Of course, there's nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong. Unless, of course, he could admit he made a mistake. But after one incredible and seemingly endless date, possibly the best in living history, Samantha is forced to admit the truth, that her family is in crisis and any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forget her, to remember their night together as a perfect moment, as crushing as that may be. Only no amount of distance or time is nearly enough to forget that something between them has happened. And the only thing better than one single perfect memory is to make a life and even a love worth remembering.
I don't love that description.
I'm not going to lie, that was actually one of the worst descriptions I've read for her book. Em cut out
bad.
2 separate occasions where I had to restart reading that description because of how horrible that just sounded.
I hated the way that flowed.
That did not, I don't know who wrote that. That was Goodreads. That was a Goodreads description.
Not into that.
I am honestly,
Sorry.
I'm going to say it here, I probably will not, I'm sorry. I probably will not be picking that up.
Yeah, I don't think I
but
will
then again,
either.
That's not my genre. So I
Period.
just
Period.
wow, because you said, what's the one book that you said is really good by her?
Just
That you
for the
think-
summer.
Just for the summer.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I do want to read that because it sounded great, but man, that just was a slap in the face. That was literally me
Yeah.
reading that for the first time too. Wow. Okay.
All right.
Let's move on.
All
Let's
right.
move on. Let's move on.
The next one I have for you guys is Heartwood by Amity Gage. I've never heard of this author. Have you?
Ooh, no, I have not.
Let's dive in, why don't we?
Oh my- Get the scroll out.
Valerie Gillis, a 42-year-old nurse, is hiking the Appalachian Trail, a legendarily challenging route that runs from Georgia to Maine, taking in 14 states. She has almost reached the end when she vanishes. Beverly Miller, the first female game warden ever hired in the state of Maine, has a near-perfect record of finding lost people. She is leading a search and rescue mission through the impenetrable woods. Meanwhile, Lena follows the case online from her retirement home, believing she might hold the key to the entire case. Heartwood is a love letter to mothers, daughters, nurses, first responders, loners, and lovers of nature, and to anyone who's been lost along the way.
Love it.
Interesting, right?
I love that. Yes.
It's
that,
not really
so far,
like something I've really read before, so
no.
excited
And
for
so
that
far,
one.
that's probably my favorite one we've read
Love
so
that.
far.
Love that.
Yeah,
That
I really like
is
that.
Heartwood by Amity Gage.
All right. Your next book.
All right, the next one I have, I'm not going to read the description for because I can't read it, to be honest with you. But I know what it's about.
You don't have your magnifying glass?
Where's your bifocals?
Where are they?
Where are your bifocals, Em? Okay, this is Swept Away by Beth O'Leary. This is a romance that I'm actually really into and I really do want to pick up. The only reason being it reminds me of Below Deck. It's a romance between the chef and a bartender who work on a private yacht. That's all I know.
Interesting.
And I think it's like enemies to lovers. Like, I think they like don't realize. I think the premise is they don't realize that they're going to be working together and they meet right before. And then they realize they're stuck on a yacht together.
Oh, to be stuck on a yacht.
Yeah.
It's very White Lotus. Yes.
Yeah, right? So that is Swept Away by Beth O'Leary. Just a little romance for you.
Nice. My next one is actually something that I will definitely read at some point. I don't know if it'll be immediately, but it's Notes to John by Joan Didion. This premise sounds very up my alley.
Yeah.
And it's pretty long, so strap in.
Okay.
In November 1999, Joan Didion began seeing a psychiatrist because, as she wrote to a friend, her family had had a few rough years. She described the sessions in a journal she created for her husband, John Gregory Dune. For several months, Didion recorded conversations with the psychiatrist in meticulous detail. The initial sessions focused on alcoholism, adoption, depression, anxiety, guilt, and the heartbreaking complexities of her relationship with her daughter, Quintana. The subjects evolved to include her work, which she was finding difficult to maintain for sustained periods. There were discussions about her own childhood, misunderstandings and lack of communication with her mother and father, her early tendency to anticipate catastrophe, and the question of legacy, or as she put it, what it's been worth. The analysis would continue for more than a decade. Didion's journal was crafted with the singular intelligence, precision, and elegance that categorized all of her writing. It is an unprecedentedly intimate account that she reveals sides of her that were unknown, but the voice is unmistakably hers, questioning, courageous, and clear in the face of a wrenchingly painful journey.
Wow. That sounds gorgeous.
It sounds very like she's going to do a lot of introspection and
like that's going to be a heavy book.
Very heavy.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's like about her and she's writing it and having to convey that to someone like a reader that doesn't know her at all. And I think that'll add a lot of depth to her writing.
Absolutely.
Which her writing already has a lot of depth. And a lot of the books she writes are they're like think pieces.
Yeah.
So
I think that's going to add a lot of insight.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next one I'm sharing is going to be Vanishing World by Sayaka Murata. This is a dystopian, so I think you'll like this one, Will. It's very interesting.
Right up our alley.
Pull out my book.
I can't take you seriously.
Okay.
I love to. Wait, let's just take a moment. I love to that you were like, you know what? I'm not reprinting this.
No, I was like, this is fine.
I'm going to use this.
I'm not wasting ink. Vanishing World takes Murata's universe to a bold new level, imagining an alternative Japan where attitudes to sex and procreation are wildly different to her own. As a girl, Amane realizes with horror that her parents copulated, that means they naturally had a child, in order to bring her into the world, rather than using artificial insemination, which became the norm in the mid-20th century. Amane strives to get away from what she considers an indoctrination in this strange system by her mother, but her infatuations with both anime characters and real people have a sexual force that is undeniable. As an adult in an appropriately sexless marriage, sex between married couples is now considered as taboo as incest. Amane and her husband Saku decide to go and live in a mysterious new town called Experiment City, or Paradise Eden, where all children are raised communally and every person is considered a mother to all children. Men are beginning to become pregnant using artificial wombs that sit outside their bodies like balloons, and children are nameless, called only Kodomo-chan. Is this the new world that will purify Amane of her strangeness once and for all?
What?
I know. I know. Isn't that crazy?
You just kept hitting me. You just kept going, which is a bunch of different shit
like,
going
she
on.
ends up in a coal.
Oh my. Oh wow.
Doesn't that sound awesome?
Has this author written anything?
Yeah, I
Is this a
believe it's
debut?
like a very Earthlings and Convenience Store Woman. I believe they're like
Or
a
her
very
other-
renowned Japanese writer. I think this is translated.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that
so
sounds
from what I'm understanding, this book has
intriguing.
been out for a couple months, but it's just now being translated, if I understand
okay.
correctly.
I got you.
So
Wow, that is
wild.
what a pull. What a
I
pull,
know.
Em.
I know.
This is a book I'm not going to read the description of because it is a part of a world that I don't want to spoil anything. The last book I have is The Maid's Secret by Nita Prose. She also wrote The Maid and what was the other one? The Mystery Guest, which are all in the same universe because they all follow the same main character, Molly the Maid. So this is the third book in that world, and it's just another story revolving around Molly. I do have the physical copy of The Maid, and I've had it for probably over a year, and it's really short. I should just sit down and read it because I've heard great things about it.
I hear it's great. I haven't read it either.
But now that there's this book coming out, maybe that'll make me read it. But I also suck with series. Not that this is a series, but I suck with just books in succession because I'll start a series and then put it away and never touch it again, and then come back and read the second book, put it away, not touch it again, and then it's a year later and I still have 3 unopened series. So maybe I'll finish those first before I go into this one.
Gorgeous.
But yeah, if you read The Maid and The Mystery Guest, the third book, which is The Maid's Secret, is coming out this month.
So
Okay.
important to know, Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake has released, I believe April 1st it came out. I don't really know what that one's about. I forgot to print that, but I forgot to print it on this gigantic sheet. But if
You
you're
ran
a
out of
fan,
room.
I ran out of
ran out of room.
space. The other one I want to mention is called Girl on Girl by Sophie Gilbert, and that's a nonfiction. And I believe that is talking about how like pop culture has almost objectified and infantilized and sexualized women, like pop stars and stuff, and how that's shaped the female culture today. So if you're like looking for something
that's
like that, or if you're looking to get into nonfiction, that sounds like a really good one. And the last one I'm going to talk about is The Float Test by Lynn Stager Strong. The Kenner siblings are at odds. Jen is a harried mom struggling under the weight of family obligations. Fred is a novelist who can't write, maybe because she's lost faith in storytelling itself. Jude is a recovering corporate lawyer with her own story to tell and a grudge against her former favorite sister, Fred. I thought I got really confused by this description with the names.
Yeah, that is.
Fred, George, they're all sisters though. Okay. George the baby is estranged from his wife. What?
That's how I felt reading the first description because it just jumped around.
What does that mean? George the baby is estranged from his wife and harboring both a secret. Oh wait, I'm getting it. George is the baby of the siblings.
Okay.
And he's a boy. Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. George, the baby of the siblings, not a real baby, is estranged from his wife and harboring both a secret about his former employer and an ill-advised crush on one of his sister's friends. Ooh. Gathered after a major loss, each sibling needs the other more than ever, if only they could trust each other. I'm going to skip around because this is really long and not making any sense. This family story in particular is fraught with secrets about kids and sex and jobs and why the Kenner matriarch had a gun in her underwear drawer. The biggest secret of all, though, is the secret of what... Over the course of a sweltering Florida summer, the Kenner siblings will revisit what it means to be a family, and if they are smart and kind and lucky, come out on the other side better for having each other. Okay, holy shit.
Do you think the author has any say in what the description
I
of
sure
the
hope
book
not.
is?
I really sure hope not, because oh my god, I got that one off of Goodreads, and I originally read the description through a New York Times article that was talking about new books, and the way that New York Times said it, incredible. That? So
Sometimes
sorry, guys.
Goodreads, it feels like they just do one draft and then
they're
just
like,
send
whatever,
it.
just send it.
Yeah.
That was fun. Now let's jump into our April TBRs.
It's time.
It's time.
Oh, it's time. I have 6 books, and I know that's a lot, and I know I won't read them all. Maybe I will. You know what? Maybe I will.
Maybe you will.
All right, so I'm going to start with my current read, and that is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I touched on this at the beginning of the episode. I have probably 100 pages left, maybe a little less than that. She's slow. She's disturbing. She's repetitive. She's got good characters. She's got a decent plot. But oh man, it is so detail oriented.
Ooh.
Like, there's so much in here. It's so dense that like I just want to get to it, you know?
Yeah.
Like this needed to be, I should have been done the book by now because it should have been 100 pages shorter. I'm going to go through it. I'm not DNFing it. I was really on the fence halfway through. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Where are we going here?
I hate when that happens.
And then there was a reveal, which like, I'm still in the middle of figuring out how it like all plays into what's happening. It wasn't as big of like a wow as I thought it was going to be. So maybe this last like fourth or third will be what saves it. But
Yeah.
it's not going to be, I can tell you right now, it's not going to be close to a 5-star, but check out my TikTok and the wrap up to see what I rate it, because
Yeah.
I'll definitely have something. I'll probably finish it either tonight or tomorrow night.
Gorgeous.
So I'll have something posted. But yeah, so that's my first one.
The first one I have is Sandwich by Catherine Newman. I started this one yesterday and I'm like 40-ish% through it. It's kind of short. I'm reading it as an ebook, and it's about a family staying in Cape Cod for a week. They go to the same the same cottage every single week. Nope, every single summer. They go to the same cottage every summer since the kids were like babies. And the kids are now adults. Like one of them just graduated college and the other one's in college. And the husband and wife are like having kind of issues, but it's just kind of like one of those stories about like family dynamics changing, and I don't know. So far it's really good. The way it's written is very fast paced. Like I keep wanting to pick it back up, but nothing extraordinary yet.
That's a good sign though, that you want to keep going back
to
it.
It is,
because
definitely.
I don't feel that way about my current read.
Yeah.
So my next one is A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. This will be the book I read immediately after this book because one, it's like short, maybe less than 150 pages, I think. That story, from what I know, is about this man who is in hell, but it's like basically a labyrinth, and like it's like a library almost. It's giving Midnight Library vibes a little bit, but I hope it's not that because I didn't like that book. Basically, he has to find a book that will help him escape this labyrinth, and
That's pretty cool. I like that.
it just centers around that. It intrigued me. Like I said, I didn't like the Midnight Library. I thought the themes of that were really kind of problematic.
Yes.
So I'm really hoping it's not like that. But this has been recommended to me many times on my TikTok. So I will be reading that next. And it'll be a nice little palate cleanser because it's like, okay, quick read, on to the next, you know?
That's exciting. I feel like you're going to really like that one.
I hope so. because I need something quick, something fast after reading this slow burn, which is really just slow with no burn.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I feel like this will be a good pick then.
Yeah. So excited for that, for sure.
All right. My next one is an audiobook that I'm listening to right now, actually. It's a nonfiction because I'm trying to stick to my goals. And it's called All in Her Head by Elizabeth Coman, MD. Yeah, she's a doctor. And it's all about the history of women's health in the medical field and its implications on how we look at women's health today, which I find very interesting. As a woman with health problems, it's very enlightening to see like how far things have come, but also like how far we are from equal research and stuff like that in the medical field. So it's very interesting. She goes over like all the parts of the body almost. Like the first chapter, she went over skin, so like plastic surgery and stuff like that, and like how it was researched for women and how it was like marketed towards women and who thought of it and what doctors did what. Like it was just, it's really interesting and I'm really enjoying it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very
and it's also
nice.
talking about like pseudoscience, like how people are trying to use what is it called when you the like racist thing where you look at like bone structure?
Archaeology?
Maybe it's oh my god.
That's dinosaurs. That's
Archaeology. No, I think it's called phrenology, but I feel like I'm using the wrong word. But it's like people.
Well, it's better than archaeology.
It might be. It's basically the study. Like some people believe that like if you look at the skulls of like take women and men for example, there's like differing qualities, and that lends to like men being smarter than women. Like people use that as science. It's like a pseudoscience. So she talks about like the origins of it and how like obviously negative that is, and like the negative connotations all of that has on like racism and feminism and all this stuff. So very interesting if you're looking for a fast-paced, female-centered nonfiction.
All right. My next pick is Long Bright River by Liz Moore. This was a book that Em had read last month and raved about it.
So good.
It's about two sisters. One is a police officer in Kensington, Philadelphia, and the other is the sister is involved in the opioid scene, and there's a murder that happens. There are a series of murders, and the sister goes missing, and the cop sister becomes obsessed with finding her sister and gets interwoven into the opioid crisis of Philadelphia. It sounds wonderful. Not the premise, but like the book sounds like a really good book. Not the content of it. Yeah, so wonderful. I am a fan of Liz Moore after reading God of the Woods, so I'm really excited to pick this up. And this is actually the most recommended book to me in all of my TikTok videos. It was Long Bright River.
Oh my god.
Yes. Yeah,
awesome.
So that's why I have to buy it. Like I have to.
You have to.
Or I have to borrow it from someone. But yeah, so I'm really excited to tap into that one for sure.
Gorgeous. All right, these are my last two. I'm just grouping them together because one of them is the second book in the Outlander series, so I don't really have much to say about that.
Yeah.
But the big one that I really want to get to is The Sirens by Emilia Hart. Nice. I was between that and Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, but after like reading those descriptions again, I want to prioritize The Sirens because it's more my cup of tea. So
yeah, definitely.
I think I'll really enjoy it this month, and it feels kind of like a spring read. So I'm very excited for those.
Oh yeah, love that. Love that. And I love.
Let me say the connotation to that is, if I can get it on Libby, I will not be purchasing. Okay.
Fair enough. We love a 75 book girl.
I'm actually lying again because I got sent a copy of it from the publisher.
Oh, then it's free.
So even better.
It's free. I also love that your TBR is attainable because mine is a bit over the top.
That's all right.
So, okay. So that was all of your TBR?
Yep, that's all mine.
All right. Rapid fire round. Here we go. Let's stick with. I'll finish up the thrillers on my list. The last thriller I have is All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. This baby is thick. It's like 600 plus pages.
Oh my God.
It'll be interesting if I get to this. Like, this will probably be my least priority on my list. All I know about it is that it jumps between the 90s and the 2000s with these two best friends, where one of them saves a girl from a violent act, and it's the aftermath of that and how these characters grow. And it's basically marketed as like a mystery thriller, but a lot of people have said on TikTok, when I said that I wanted to read it, that it's more of a character study of two friends over time.
Cool.
Which I really love. I love when a thriller kind of genre jumps. And I think that that'll be a cool little thing. And one last thing I will say about thrillers is that I'm having a very hard time saying the word thriller lately. So if you hear me like thriller, like if you hear me just jumble on the words a little bit,
no, you
let
didn't.
me be. Mind your business. Next, I have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This, I believe I will read if I don't get Long Bright River by the time I finish A Short Stay in Hell. I think this will be next. And also I have to, maybe. The last book, you'll understand why I say maybe. This is a book where I had read Circe by her years ago. Like literally at this point, it's been years. And I loved it, absolutely devoured it. 5 stars, no notes. It was amazing. And I read this directly after. Probably a mistake. I should have cleansed my palate with a different genre, a different writing style. And I put it down because I was like, I'm not enjoying this like to its fullest extent. Let me put this off. And it's been a couple
Smart.
years. So I think
it's
time.
going to pack a punch.
So my last one on my TBR. This is actually, I may have just lied about Song of Achilles. This might actually be the one that's right after Short Stay in Hell. It's Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I need to go out and buy it. I am buying it. I need a copy of it. Is this one of those books where they're immediately releasing the non-hardcover ones, the paperback ones?
I don't believe so.
Damn. Okay. Because I have a whole paperback set, so that's why I'm like, do I really buy a hardcover? I heard incredible things about this book, like incredible things, and I'm in a really much a crying mood. So I think that from what I've heard, that might happen. I hear it's very emotional. I hear it's very, very Hunger Games, which I have been missing, and I cannot wait to read it.
So excited.
I also I'm almost in the period of like, I want to read it, but at the same time, I don't want to because then I don't want it to be over.
So true.
I breezed through The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I was like, oh, that's it. Like I want more. I want more. So like I kind of want to take my time and really like just take this all in because I've been wanting a Haymitch backstory forever.
I know. It's
Manifested
fantastic.
it.
It's fantastic.
Manifested it, and it's here. So I
Beautiful.
definitely, whenever I get my little pause on that book, that is taking full priority over any of these books.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
So hopefully I will be talking about that in the wrap up at the end of the month.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps up today. I hope you found a couple new books that you're interested in this April. And if you want to join 75 books, booked, I literally said it wrong. If you want to join 75 booked, start whenever. It's not like a set date. So get started today, get started tomorrow. Make sure you're following Will on TikTok, me on TikTok, and our Let's Talk Literature podcast on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, and join our Fable Book Club. We'll be reading Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley this month, and I'm very excited for that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard amazing things about it. I'm so excited.
Me too.
And make sure to leave a 5-star rating on this podcast. We really do appreciate when people leave ratings for us. It pushes us out to more viewers and more people that we can talk about books with. So, but yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. All of the new and returning viewers and listeners, we really appreciate you. We love you.
We appreciate you, and we hope you're having a good time listening.
Yeah, please let us know. We love any feedback. So let us know in the comments if what you're reading this month, or if you're reading any of the books on the list, or if you have read any of them, let us know what you thought. And I think that's about it. Oh, also
Yes.
there is rumor that TikTok is going away again. So make sure to follow us on all the other socials
Instagram
out
too.
there.
Yeah.
Instagram, YouTube, you know the jazz.
Good call.
You know it all.
All right. That wraps it up today. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.